What you've done and from my research and seeing what you bring to these roles is just it's inspiring. I really well, of course we're going to talk about Mel, but it's not just Mel. I didn't even know you were in Star Wars. I thought that was like the coolest thing. I'm such a huge Star Wars nerd. And a lot of those roles come from animation, voice acting, and video games. So I'm curious, as someone who's had a beautiful on-camera career, how did you get introduced into this wonderful, wacky world of voice acting?
I have been trying to get into voice acting since I was in my early 20s, which is almost 30 years now. So I wanted to do it forever, but to get into that industry is tough, really hard. And I didn't really get into it. I would do like little things here and there for people, like friends, but I didn't really get into it until probably 2013 or 14. I started to do commercials. And then I was I got a really great voiceover agent, probably my fifth or sixth voiceover agent, and they really got me. And I I feel like the first thing I probably booked was Steven Universe, I think, and then DuckTales. And I think it was, initially because they needed a Ghanaian voice. And I mean, I'm Nigerian, but I modeled Nanefwa's voice after my grandmother's voice. And that got me in the door. And after that, I was lucky enough to get the auditions. And then once I got the great work, once you're in, especially if you're reliable and respectful and it's just I've been so lucky ever since. And also when the pandemic started, my agent, who is a very clever man, said, "Can you build a studio in your house?" I said, "Done." And because I had a studio in my house, because we had to finish Arcane, there were a couple of things I was working on. There was more DuckTale stuff to do. I was working on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and something else, but Arcane was the big one that we really had to finish. And so he was like, "Get that done." And because I did, there was so many other jobs where they needed people who could do it remotely. And so I booked so much work because of that, and from that work, more work. And so, yeah.
Using DuckTales as an example, what is was before I'm getting ahead of myself, I apologize, but did you group record for that? Did you get to record with them in the studio?
Not even one time.
What?
Not even one time. So the boys, I believe, recorded together a few times, but the rest of us did not. We never did. And David was in the UK for most of it. I never recorded with any of them. We've done a lot of conventions together, and I adore every single one of those people. They are wonderful people. Many of them I've been fortunate enough to form friendships with. And and they're all doing very well in the industry, which I'm happy about because it's nice to see talented, good people do well in this industry.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I mean, we have a lot of fun together. If you've ever seen any of the footage of us at any of the conventions, we have a lot of fun together. So I do have to say, I wonder if we had done it together, if we would have even gotten anything done because we goof off so much.
That's the number one thing I hear about group records is just that fun bouncing off of each other's energy. So my
Yes.
question was, of course, with you, so we're gonna talk about your own camera work, I guess, with this, but why do you believe it's important for art to be collaborative? Right? Like a lot of the
Mhm.
times you have directors and producers and it really does take a village to make all of the projects that you are so blessed to be a part of. So I'm curious, why do you feel like it's such an important aspect of the artistic process for it to be so collaborative?
I mean, the practical reason, of course, is because most people don't excel at everything. Of course, every now and then you'll find someone who can do absolutely everything perfectly, but that's very rare. And so, if you want a project to be as good as it can be, you get a phenomenal writer, you get a phenomenal producer, They get together, they work on that script, they find that money, and then they find the people to do those roles. And then they find a director who understands the project and understands how to convey the way it needs to be to actors. However, also, I think that the best directors also like to see a little bit of what the actor brings. And so there you have that collaboration. And also, you have all the designers, you have the people who are doing your clothes, your hair, your makeup, the lights, the sets. And the beauty of it is each and every different human being is understanding the project and understanding where we're going with it, but bringing their own little piece of what they do really well to it to elevate it and make it even better than anyone knew it could be. Right. And, so I love walking in and seeing, when you get asked, oh, is there anything you won't wear? Is it? And I'll say, not really. Like, let me see what the character's going to be. And usually, I can only think of one time that I thought they got it wrong. Usually, I'm like, oh, great, they've informed me what the characters do and who they are a little bit more by what they saw, and then same with hair and makeup. I like to see what they're thinking, and if it's really opposite from what I'm thinking, we'll collaborate. I'm not one of those people who walks in and has it all like this is how it's got to be, because I know that my strength is the acting portion and everyone else is there because of their strength. And then there's the beauty of being around the other actors, and yeah, you've memorized your lines, but you don't really know how it's going to come at you. And the really good actors listen and they respond in that moment to what they're getting. So you can prepare it any way you want, but you still have to bounce it off the person in a way that shows you're listening, because that's what we do in real life. So when you have those really magical projects, it's because that puzzle is complete. There's no wrong pieces. They've not been put together incorrectly, and there's no missing pieces. It's all been put together perfectly. That's when things really are magic. And, some of the more magical projects that I thought were the better ones also, I mean, the Frasier writing room, for instance, there was not one demographic missing from that room. So, it was magic because people are bringing their own completely unique experiences and ideas of how we walk through the world. I remember the first episode, I remember looking at the background players, and almost all of them were white at Harvard. And I was like, that's not what Harvard looks like these days. It's just not, you know? And so then, you get to the writers of color get to be like, actually, there's a lot of us at Harvard now, so it's like that kind of stuff. And also, what the most important ingredient is that everyone there is open to the collaboration. No one is like, no, 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 it's this way or no way. Everyone's collaborating and listening to make it the best it can be.